Right, here's an interesting one. Got up this morning, sun's out and everything, all that business, right? And I'm getting and then I'm sitting here having a drink, and I think, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting beeping coming from here, right? And this is shutting down, right? And it's shutting down on over voltage. It's getting like 30 volts. I'm going, oh, what's going on there? Because I can see it. It's on there, it says 30 volts. And these are just joined together off of the common battery pack. And I thought, oh, it's weird. And then what happens with this is, because what happens with these is, I think I might have said before, it only looks at the control protection only looks at what's coming in. It doesn't care what's going out. And this lot can go down to like 170 volts. And it's like your stuff has to just suffer, and it doesn't switch off. And that's if you overload this. Let's say, for instance, you take out 1500, it won't shut down. Right, it'll just lower the voltage. So I put a voltage protection on it, which I think I've said before, right? So that kept shutting down because this went off. That would shut down, and my fan was going off. And then what would happen is I would then get squealing, right, from when the load was turned off, and then when this reset, this would start squealing because it was getting 30 volts, right? Because I could see it on here, and this one was going beep 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 beep. I was going, well, why am I getting 30 volts? I've only got like 17 and 20, sometimes 22, 23, because the sun was really strong earlier. I was thinking, what's going on there? So I thought, I wonder, is it that this one's shut down because I've got this controller set on 29.2 volts, right? The highest volts I want. That charges that battery. And then what happens then? I've got this one. The BMS just shuts down at 28.2, right? And it's perfect, it works great, right? I thought, I wonder, has the BMS, so what can happen sometimes is, if that's shut down because it's charged, it's got to 28.2, this one, if the BMS, for any reason, if the BMS shuts down, which is very rare, if the BMS shuts down on this, the voltage coming in has got nowhere to go, and you end up getting this really high, crazy, up and down voltage coming from the solar panels and coming into this lot. Yeah. So I think, okay, so yeah, I come to this and I did my reset method, which is where I just short from here onto the negative there, and so I bypassed the BMS. I did my shorting, and you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure you've got everything switched off, because what can happen is if you short with a little bit of 1mm wire like I do, you end up actually all the amperage from the battery goes through and tries to go through that tiny bit of wire. So yeah, well, I learned that. The thing got really hot in my hand. So that was that sorted. Then I've been running it a few times and it kept doing it. I was going, why is this BMS tripping? You know what I mean? I looked at the volt, because I didn't put my voltmeter on. I looked at here, right? That tells me the voltage of. So what I did, I turned off the charge and discharge of this on the special, the clever BMS. I turn that, so that battery, I haven't got a separate battery switch. I turn this battery off, right, with those switches, the charge and discharge. So now I know I'm only getting this. So then, I could then see what was going on. And so what it is also, yeah, so as soon as I turned that battery off there, the bottom one, the LifePo with the intelligent BMS, with the smart BMS, I could then see what the actual voltage of this battery pack was, and it was 22 volts. I was thinking, well, why am I on 22 volts? This is normally at 20, this should be like up higher than that one always. Well, so obviously there's been some episode where this has tripped out and it's not been getting the charge, right? It's been at 22. And so this is what I've decided was happening. This one here now I've got everything turned off and I'm just charging. I'm not doing any discharging. I'm getting 17 amps. That's how much this is taking, right? But also, I'm pretty sure that because the voltage in here is 22 volts, right? Really low, right? This pack at the bottom is up at like whatever, 27 or something like that. What will have happened? I'll have 17 amps coming in from the panels, right? And this one will have stopped charging because it's got it up to its 28 volts, right? But it can discharge. So what will happen is, because I've got really nothing going out too much, that higher voltage in the bottom pack, right? The higher voltage in the lower voltage pack of the LifePose will backfeed. Would be backfeeding, would come up and then put backfeed back into it. So you not only get the 18 amps, the 18 amps from that lot, you'd also get a backfeed. Now, it normally backfeeds from this one to that one, but this BMS is big. It's 100 amp, isn't it? Right. This one can only charge at, it says on there, 30 amps. You can discharge 60 amps. You can have that's why it was tripping out. Cause I was thinking, why is it tripping out? I'm charging the bloody thing. It was charging out on high amps. I bet there's lots of people who get these tripping out and they don't think about the charging amps. You know what I mean? If these are really low, you've got to make sure that you're not charging them too quickly. And there we go. So I think I've learned something on that one. 20 amps, if that's real. You know what I mean? Mind you, it is there. It's putting that into there. They're bloody good panels. There we go.